of sense.
Good Tuesday morning, guys, and welcome to Real Talk. This is an insider's guide to real estate, life, the pursuit of happiness, and how to deliver a zinger to a friend without hurting their feelings.
Oh, really?
This show presented by the Yes Team Realtors and Yes Realty Partners, trusted advisors in the game. Just say yes. How are you?
I'm doing good. Now I got to walk back my zingers, huh, today? I'm in rare form today. I've already had a couple of meetings. I'm good
When did
to
you
go.
wake up today?
Actually, late.
Yeah, what's late for you? Is it the daylight savings that's throwing you off?
A little bit.
Yeah.
It takes about a week for me to recover for
Yeah,
it. And
right.
The older I got, the worse it gets.
Come on, you're a young man.
Thank you. Around 5, I think.
Okay.
Something like that.
That's pretty
Rolled
early.
out of bed at 5.
Yeah.
Usually it's a little early.
What do you do when you wake up? Check the market first thing? What do you do?
No. The first thing I do.
Ride your bike? Eat some Oreos?
Oh,
You like Oreos?
Are you in rare form today, Mr. Miller? I apologize for getting 2 zingers before we went
No, I
live.
love it.
Because
I'm curious of your routine.
Apparently, I'm going to get a couple more back my way.
You strike me as a creature of habit.
I am. So, do we really going to go down?
I'm
this
curious,
road
yeah.
Of how I start my morning.
You're a successful guy. What's the creature of habit of a successful man in the morning? What's the routine?
Well, there's the natural part that I have to take the first time that one must do when you first
so
wake
you hit
up.
the head.
I hit the head.
Okay.
I hit the head. And I go over to my Nespresso and pop out a cappuccino or an espresso, actually. And
You have good taste. Those are great.
Yep. And I sit down in my thinking chair and I kind of go through the emails for a little bit and clear things out and look at my calendar, and this is my little quiet time. I want to do it, and which is really an actual mistake, because what I really should do is get on the bike first, but I don't. Then I start reading emails, and then time gets away, and the next thing you know, it's a little late. But it's a tradition. The Smiths, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I make her a cup of Earl Grey tea. And we sit in my chair. She sits in her chair in our living room, and we have a 30-minute conversation about our day and whatever.
That's awesome.
And then we move on. Yeah, we always religiously spend 30 minutes together. Now sometimes I get yelled at. Put the phone down. Right.
Me too.
Yeah.
That's the story of us.
Yeah, I'm addicted to it.
Oh, say it's an addiction.
Without doubt.
I mean, I don't even know when I'm picking it up most of the time, Keith.
I know Mrs. Smith isn't watching because she's driving up to Fairfax because we have a new construction client up there closing. And
Okay.
So she's driving up to do the final walkthrough and be there just to offer a little bit of service up there. So she's keep her in your thoughts because she's driving up to Fairfax and back today.
Okay, Yonna Smith, nothing but prayers and thoughts for you. Neil Williamson, que pasa, amigo?
Hey,
He's
Neil.
watching.
Hey, Neil, how's it going? It's I don't really have any agenda today. I wanted to kind of.
I think Neil was very intrigued by our conversation yesterday about Crozet density and where this added density is going to go in this intimate, charming community that we call Crozet in the Western Outlaw.
I wanted to start a little different than that.
Sure,
but we'll get
start
back
any way you want. But I'm pretty sure that's why Neil's watching.
I think Neil watches because he just loves the.
Oh, he just likes to see what clothes you're wearing.
He loves the dynamic duo.
Oh, okay.
He wants to know if we're actually going to show up at spandex or not.
That's on show 150.
No.
Show 150 is right around the corner.
I did not agree to that.
We got to do something special.
Well, that's kind of what we're going to throw out there. This is 147. Not this Friday, but the following Friday will be show 150. And I would love somebody on the feed, maybe do a little bit of a dare or, what should we do different on that? We'll do, we're pretty, we don't have a lot of, I don't know. I was going to say we have a lot of chutzpah, but, we'll do anything.
Yeah, you and I will do anything
We'll
once.
do anything.
I will do anything once.
But look, Yonna and I went out last night, and it's just a follow-up on this conversation that you had
yesterday.
We had yesterday, yeah. Yonna and I went out to Beberdero to see our good friend Vincent Zorn play. So somebody tag him. We're
I'll
talking
tag him
about
right
him. But the vibe was, this is a Monday night. The vibe was really good. The place was packed. They have a reduced seating, of course. But we were actually doing what we do well. We were chatting with the waiter and stuff like that. So how does it feel to you? Does it feel like things are coming back? Is the confidence coming back? But the place was proverbially packed. And I just love to throw out to the feed anybody. Are they experiencing the same thing? Are they starting to see maybe this turning the corner? The second realization I had was I was walking over here from the office. It was 1 year ago today.
COVID.
This Tuesday. No, we started our Extra Tuesday show.
Really? 1 year ago today, in response in a lot of ways to COVID.
Correct.
And the response was so welcoming, we continued.
We did it. So we've been doing that. We're doing the Tuesday show for a year.
Because you wanted to continue to be the source of the source.
Well, that's what real estate agents do. That's what we do better than most. Is we just we may not be experts in everything, but we know the sources to go get to. So I wanted to kind of explore that conversation a little bit. I think you were picking up on that vibe a little bit. I mean, how do you see it? Are you seeing
confidence? Oh my goodness gracious! So I have a couple of indicators for confidence. Okay, and so do you. And these are just kind of like the back of the napkin indicators that we've noticed around town. Here are a few: parking around the downtown mall.
Oh yeah.
This time last year, it was a ghost town.
Yep.
Now we're doing the drive around the blocks to find the space.
The free spots are
the
not
2
so,
hour. Right.
2 hours are not so
exactly
prevalent. Yeah.
Another is I do the executive office game, and dude, the calls are coming in at a feverish pace. Back to the point where in 2019, we had a waiting list of 10 or 15 people. So anytime one opened, there was no vacancy. They just came in. COVID, that waiting list went away,
Sure.
and some of our offices became vacant. Now they're all full, and now we're getting a waiting list again. Another one, and you'll appreciate this. My CPA, Tucker, is phenomenal, EFS on the downtown mall. He does our payroll. We pick up the checks on Friday. I like to go in, like you, I like people. I like to say hello to him. It's on the mall. It's not like I'm going out of my way, right? And I get face-to-face time with the guy that's important
I want
to
to know
me.
where my check is, but that's okay.
But here's where I'm going. During COVID, you go and pick up the checks. Sometimes you would see some lingering past payday into the next week.
Oh.
In
the basket or in the
where
the
you pick them up.
Yeah.
Now they're gone Friday.
Yeah. Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
Well, you were touching on this on yesterday's show, and that's the reason why when we went out to see Vincent play, I was asking the waiter, the waitress. So this is coming from my developer-builder background, right? If you really want to know what's going on with a builder, or really want to know going on a job site, or really not want to know to go on in a subdivision, X the guy operating the D3, right? Just wander on the job site and say, hey, man, how's it going? They, for the most part, will just unvarnished tell you what's going on.
Sure.
So I was asking the waiter, I said, so what are you seeing? Are you seeing things coming along? How's things going? They're understaffed. No, and we loved everything there, but it took a little bit longer to get our food, which was cool. We had a
talented musician, guitarist.
Watched an awesome musician, and maybe had a drink.
Sure. What'd you get, the margarita?
Yeah, I get the margarita.
Yeah, that's good there. Yeah. At the Bebedero.
Yeah. They turned me on to a mezcal, which is really super smoky. It's just a half shot.
Was River dancing yesterday? Was yesterday the anniversary?
Oh, that was Sunday.
Okay.
Sunday. That was their 5-year anniversary.
I mean, that's a big deal for a restaurant.
But the waiter was saying my tips are up, right? I'm making a little bit more money. We need a little bit more help. Like, I don't know if that's an official diagnosis of anything. Our good friends at Dairy Central, Yonna, Dairy Market, excuse me. The other day, Yonna, I think it was Sunday, had to go in to meet a client, and I said, hey, let's grab a cup of coffee, a little something to eat on the way home. Place was packed. Everybody was outside, packed, COVID safe packed, but there was people in there. And it just feels like the corner's changing. And I just wondered if it's just me.
I think it is. I think
it is just me?
No, I think consumer confidence is upticking. Neil Williamson, what do you think of consumer confidence? Do you think we're upticking? He says, I'm watching this program to learn what the distinguished gentleman's morning routine is.
Did he really say that?
He's going to feature it on the Free Enterprise Forum.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, no, he really did say something about the Distinguished Gentleman's Morning Routine. I added the Free Enterprise Forum feature. His Free Enterprise Forum's the real deal. I'm telling you right now, and I'm not just saying this because we want him to come on the network. I literally go to the Free Enterprise Forum to prepare for this network and for the content on the show.
Yeah, we can't beg anymore. We just
I
been
know.
begging.
I think we're straight up begging
We've
him.
been begging for years.
Do we need to bribe? What do we need to do?
No, we do not bribe. We do not bribe.
You know I'm joking.
We will offer him some treats.
Yeah. I mean, I got a...
Yeah, sure.
He owns a vineyard.
He owns a vineyard.
Well hung.
You know, that would be a great opportunity for him to talk about his vineyard and see how that's going. But since he's watching, how is traffic at Well Hung in Gordonsville? Is it picking up? Is the tabletops turning? Is he struggling on hiring folks? You know, we went out there for Valentine's Day and it was awesome on that stuff. So, you know, I just kind of wanted to throw that out there and see what folks come back with.
How's the market?
Yeah, the market is good. Yonna and I have got a couple of coming soons. They're going to hit the market the next day or so, which is great. I brought some numbers on Charlottesville, but you know the bottom line is on Charlottesville, actives versus pending, we're somewhere around a 2.75 ratio per one. So in other words, the number of units that are on the market going pending, there's 2.75 units going pending versus active. You know, that's just, you know, everybody's thinking that the city, Charlottesville, may be reducing in its appeal, and it's really not. The numbers are really not showing it. Carr did a great thing with Dr. Lisa Sturvent last week, I believe it was, at the GM General Membership meeting, and she was talking about that whole trend, you know, is happening. People are moving out to the country, but also people are staying in town. You know, the problem is the numbers are the sale prices are a bit on the high side. The median sales price is $415 for the last week, but you know, homes are moving. Inventory is still lacking. We were having a staff meeting yesterday, and our team was asking us, you know, how do we, kind of what you and I have been talking about for forever, how do we go ahead and convince Mr. and Mrs. Miller to put the house on the market? You know, it's okay. We'll find you something.
Well, you had some great ideas.
Yeah, so these two coming soon ones that are going to hit the market either this weekend or on Monday, they're waiting on some photography to get done. We're going to put in the listing agreement that is contingent upon the sale. It's going to be on the finding the seller finding a home to buy, and we put in the agent notes some language about we're looking to do a seller possession agreement. So
you know what statistic took me, I considered and gave more thought to after our interview. I often think about what we talk about.
So that was yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh,
There's
really?
some statistics.
So now I got to remember what we talked about.
Well, you gave the statistic about the uptick in agents in the area.
Uptick of agents?
Yeah, how there's more in the game now.
The agents. Yeah. So that's not specific to us.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
that's
what I thought.
Yeah. So nationwide,
there's
15% more agents than there were this time last year.
And you think that's directly an impact of COVID, where people want to be more empowered with their earnings?
Ooh, that's a great question. I don't know the answer to that. You know,
because maybe COVID showed us all when we got stuck at home and we were uncertain about work, that we need to have like either a side hustle or something where we can kind of control the game. And I'm not saying this is something you can do from a side hustle standpoint.
I'm about ready to get my
rabbit hole.
You're going to try to get me into trouble here.
But I mean,
Neil, come and save me, please.
And the uptick in agents has got to be because of COVID, right?
It could be because of COVID, and I don't believe I'm going to say this, or it could be some people think this is an easy job to do.
Which it's not.
It is not.
One of the most difficult.
Well,
successfully, long term.
Successfully, yeah. Look, at the end of the day, what we do is we build relationships, and that relationships takes time, right? And you know, from a business perspective, you know, it takes time. You know, for all intents and purposes, it takes a couple of years for an agent really to get their pipeline and their business moving, because even though an agent may hang their license with Keller Williams or Nest or whoever, Long and Foster, they're their own independent business, right? They're just hanging that, so they have to create their own business to do that. And not everybody is built to be an entrepreneur, right? And run their own business. But yeah, there was, you know, it's an interesting stat. There's 15% nationwide. I have to take a chance to look at what we grew here in Carr.
You think Carr grew?
I think we did. I just don't think we grew.
Not at that rate.
Clearly not at that rate.
Because that would be roughly, let's see if I say there's roughly 1,200 in car?
Yeah, I would say closer to 1,000.
Okay, so 1,000.
Yeah, just for simple math.
So a 15% uptick around
So
here would be
$150.
$150.
150.
That's
yeah.
a fair amount.
Yeah, I don't know the numbers, and Neil, if he's watching, he probably has access
Neil,
to that.
do you have access to that? We're curious.
To that. I know that, we look at the budgets on a monthly basis, and I can recall that, we base how car revenue is produced, obviously, is from dues, right? So we're not quite hitting what we used to do in the past. But the point is inventory is dropping. There's more agents in the market. We had a little bit of conversation, what's today, Tuesday? Friday, that it seems that some of the production developers are ramping down their sales to match their production, so they're not outselling their production.
So they're not stretching their supply chain.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
So that's going to put a little bit of a further pressure on the inventory. Interest rates are climbing up a little bit, right? So that's kind of helping a little bit. That's helping freeing up the market. But it's just just to look at the medium days on market for last week in Charlottesville was 6, right? 6. It's ridiculously low. Now, some agents will tell you, well, days on market's not the right way to look at it, but to me, it's just a simple snapshot on it. When we start seeing 30, when it starts climbing, then we'll start getting a little bit more to a balanced market, balance as far as buyers and sellers. I think interest rates are going to do that. And I'm probably going to get myself in going here. But I filled up my truck early this morning on the way over here.
How much?
$3, $2.95.
So I got the Explorer. I cracked 50 for the first time since picking her up last summer.
So when was the last time it was $4 a gallon?
Probably when we were coming out or in the midst of the 08-09 recession. Because I remember, you'll appreciate this, and Neil Williamson says the car realtor membership is around 1,000.
Yeah.
Associate members are over 200.
There you go. Thank you.
Erin King is watching at Feast in the Purple Building.
Oh, cool.
She's a rock star. Jamie Turner, welcome to the broadcast.
Go visit that. I
Feast
love.
is the bomb.
Oh man, I love that place.
Dude, I love.
Matter of fact, thank you. I'm going to go for lunch there today.
You got the Bebedero watching us.
Hey, Bebedero.
Hey, Bebedero. This gentleman was there yesterday.
We were there last night watching Vincent.
Neil says, for what it's worth, I noticed all restaurant parking lots were full on last Saturday night as I drove US 29 between CVille and Litchburg. Well-Hung Vineyards now has 2 locations, Gordonsville and Roanoke,
I forgot. Yeah.
and both are performing extremely well.
Good.
2008, yeah, knock on fake IKEA for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
2008, 2009, I remember I was doing broadcasting for Monticello Media right off of Route 29 in Greenbrier, okay, by Pepsi Place, okay? And then ESPN reached out to me and said, we want you to do a regional show, 6 affiliates. Here's the drawback. Where I had to do the show on ESPN Radio, 3 states.
Got it.
Was deep in Greene County. So when I was that's where the station affiliate is. At the time, it was ESPN 840. I think it was WKTR.
I did not know there was a radio station in Greene County. Look at that.
Greene County, off 15, behind the Farm Bureau Insurance, literally in the middle of nowhere. So when I'm negotiating,
it's in the middle of Greene, not in the middle of nowhere.
Right, in the middle of Greene. You're exactly right. So when I'm negotiating this contract with ESPN, I put in there a mileage and gasoline allowance.
Oh, good for you.
Because I saw that the
gas
was like $4 then. So what do you attribute the gasoline? I mean, here's how I see it. I'm going to throw it to you.
I don't know if this is a slippery slope here.
It is a slippery slope. But, I mean, it's worth talking about.
Yeah,
I mean, we should talk about it.
Sure.
Here's how I see it.
I like the new chair, by the way.
Thank you. You start shutting down all these pipelines. You're going to limit the supply of fuel and gas, and then the price is going to go up. Secondly, if you flood the economy with trillions and trillions of dollars, you're going to get something that's called inflation. And then the price of a gallon of milk, a loaf of bread, yogurts for my son will go up. I think it's a combination of both.
Well, if this path keeps on going and we hit $4 a gallon, it will impact everything across.
Oh my God.
Across.
People will freak out once gas hits $4 a gallon because it will impact their disposable income.
Of course, I was just trying to do some quick math in my head. You know, if you're spending $20 an extra tank fill up, right? Sounds about right at this point, or it will be at some point. You know, that's 800. Figure simple math. Figure $100 a month, right? If you're filling up once a week, assuming that's what you're doing, that's going to come right off the bottom line on that end of it. But the reason I was thinking about it was a little bit different. I was trying to tie back to Neil's question about density and growth and how do we, basically what we're talking about is supply and demand of homes, right? Well, everybody can understand a gallon, how much they're paying for a gallon of gas. So as the gallon of the gas goes up, right, for whatever reason, there was regulatory, whatever it is, and it's putting restrictions or the market is
limiting supply.
We're limiting supply.
Yeah.
Well, OPEC is also turning the nozzle down a little bit on that end of it, but it's impacting the market. So if we're going to have a session on the 18th, the Regional Housing Partnership, which I'm chairman and I'm moderating, where we're going to be talking about zoning and zoning hurdles for this stuff, which is my famous red tape into green tape.
Sure.
So if we can kind of tweak the green tape a little bit, but tweak the red tape a little bit, but what we're going to look, you know.
Your buddy Michael Plecker says oil land leases being canceled left and right.
Yeah.
I mean, it gets back to limiting supply.
Yeah. But I'm somehow or another, in my infantile way, trying to tie gasoline to house supplies.
I can tell you how it's tied.
I'll let you do that, and I'll sip my cup of coffee.
Well, and tell me if I'm wrong.
Sure.
Okay. So as the price of gasoline goes up, and as we start flirting with $4 a gallon in gas, my fear is the outlying counties that have gotten so extremely popular because of their affordability, they will now have potential cause for concern unless the buyer has an electric vehicle. That's the only way that the buyer is going to be able to justify a 45-minute commute over a mountain on an interstate to Charlottesville from Waynesboro to go to work when gasoline is $4 a gallon. Because, dude, $4 a gallon, my Explorer holds, how much does your truck hold? I want to say 16 gallons?
17 gallons.
Okay, so what is that? $64, $70?
Yeah.
I mean, good night. And Keith, you I don't even drive like a lot of people. You drive a lot.
I do, and Yonna and I do this because we like doing it, but we sometimes take one vehicle in and coordinate. That's our half-an-hour meeting and all that kind of great stuff. We'll just start ramping that up.
You disagree?
I actually disagree with you.
Okay, tell me.
I think, well, not disagree, but let's say I look at it a little bit differently. The inventory, the amount of buyers out in the market and the need to buy is there. People are going to buy in Greene. People are going to buy in Fulvana County. People are going to buy on the other side of the mountain. What they're going to do is this extra $100 a month. Let's be honest. They're just not going to go to Bebedero on Monday.
Okay. So you're saying as opposed to potentially impacting housing, it's going to impact potentially shopping, retail, restaurants, disposable fun.
Right, because you still, right, if I'm looking at what I'm going to pay for rent versus buy, it's still, we're a long way away from that not being a good deal, right? Making sense, fiscal sense.
You're saying if you could save $75K buying in Waynesboro over Charlottesville, or $125K, whatever it is.
Whatever it's going to be, what you're going to do is you're going to cut your budget someplace else, right? I
think you're right. I agree with you. Yours is better than mine. Yeah, you're right.
But what I'm worried about is River. What I'm worried about is these restaurants that are just about ready to get going here. And, let's face it, the restaurants are your discretionary dollars, right? And if you don't have the discretionary dollars, because I'm spending $100 to $200, whatever the amount of money is per week, putting it into my vehicle, I'm not going to go out to eat. So the restaurants are going to even struggle. We're going to hopefully get to this herd immunity thing, which the reason I was saying earlier, I want to bring in my doctor son-in-law. I want to have him explain.
At like the 6th or 7th grade level for us, right? The herd immunity.
Well, maybe sixth grade for you, third grade for me. Don't go over third grade, right? I think, and I think I'm insulting third graders by saying that. I'm pretty sure I am.
So you think people will go? You do not think people will be turned off if gas gets to $4 a gallon?
People will absolutely freak out.
And out buying a house 45 minutes from the epicenter of employment, Charlottesville.
Look, of course, it's going to impact it, but are we going to go from 6 days on market or 3 days on market at the lake, which is that particular case, to 90 overnight? No, it's not going to happen. They're just going to, I may be wrong. I just know what Mr. and Mrs. Smith is going to do. What Mr. and Mrs. Smith is going to do is we're going to try to drive one vehicle in all the time if we can, right? We're going to work from home. It's going to just increase the work from home scenario. So where am I going to make up this extra $100, $200 a month, right? I'm not going to spend my discretionary dollars. I don't know. I have no idea if I'm right. This was just something that popped into my head as I'm driving in today going, what the heck are we going to talk about today?
Well, no, and I'm curious to see how that's going to play with the fact that
we're going to keep track of that.
You and I both are anticipating a roaring 20s type of situation.
That I want to talk about.
Without the depression at the end, we certainly hope.
I disagree with you on that, by the way.
You do not think it'll be a roaring 20s?
I disagree with you.
Okay, let's go down that road.
What?
Really? Pent up demand? We've saved more money? We've been stuck in a house? We miss people? We want to booze?
Yeah, but you have to define what Roaring 20s is. And did you ever read the book I gave you, Bill Ryder?
Yeah, well, you told me to pick. This is how you. I got to get you that book back.
I was going to text you this morning.
Yeah, I'll bring it Friday.
Please.
You told me this is pretty serious and heavy.
Correct.
There's certain parts that you should read.
That's exactly right.
And that's what I read.
The certain parts.
Yeah, I did not read the whole book. The whole book from start to finish. I mean, it was heavy. It was dry.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
It was dry. It was very historical. The reason
it's informative.
The reason I bought it is I wanted to see what happened in 1919, because really the 1918 Spanish flu really didn't kind of fully end, according to this book anyway, until the end of 1919 and really kicking off this Roaring 20s thing. But you have to think, and this may be a bit morbid to talk about. In fact, it is morbid to talk about. But I looked at it quickly and went, just think about, we just came out of World War I. 40, 50 million people died just in combat at that point. Then there was 100 million people died from the Spanish flu. You put them together in a period of time, and you got to keep in mind, we weren't 240 million, whatever, 300, whatever we are in country. We were substantially less than that. So that percentage number was big. There was, your family lost multiple people.
Sure.
Right. If you read the book, there was no social network left over. Right. So there was no adoption system. So people, God forbid something would happen, Trey would come to us. Right, because we were friends or we were family members. This was a big, if you have to read that book, this was a big thing. Thank the Lord, fake IKEA, we never got there, right? It's what we were going through is unprecedented, it's scary, it's frightening, but we're not.
At World War I, Spanish flu pandemic levels.
We're not a couple hundred million people dead.
So why don't you think that this is going to be the Roaring 20s?
Because everybody, if you read the book, everybody was like, Katie barred the doors, everything is free. I don't think we're mentally really there. The other thing was they weren't very connected, right?
No social media.
No.
And social and Zoom has allowed us to at least maintain some kind of human connection with our friends and family.
No,
is that what you're saying?
The world was very small at that time.
Sure.
Right? Your family never really left your little pod, right? My family never left that little pod. We don't have these wonderful things that are in front of us in these phones where on Tuesday.
So you're saying people will not be chomping at the bit for the human connection?
No, I'm not saying that. I agree. I visualized that last night. But the Roaring 20s was, there was no rules. If you really read the history of the Roaring 20s, that was it. There was no rules. We're not going to go there, I don't think.
What do you guys think? Put it in the feed. How do you guys see what do we think? Maybe Q2, Q3, when vaccines are
I read an interesting
out there?
I read an interesting article by a doctor from Johns Hopkins.
He said end of second quarter?
Yeah, end of April.
End of April, everyone's going to have it who wants it.
Well, we're going to reach this herd immunity, and this is the reason I want to bring in
Your doctor's son.
my son-in-law doctor to explain it at a third grade
Sure,
level.
sure.
Maybe somebody can. I know. Our good friend Alfred over here tried to explain it to us the other day, but
He's the smartest guy in the room.
I would agree that
Judah Wickower, our director, is
good.
very versatile in his intellect.
the second smartest thing
It's
in the
probably Liza the
is
dog.
Liza.
Yeah,
Right.
you and I.
And
all
I'm not so sure.
All you and I can do is talk. That's what we can do, Keith Smith.
Oh yeah. That whole thinking
What
thing.
did your mom say?
Oh God, I'm not going
What
there.
did she say to you that one time? And you're like, Mom, really?
I'm going to let that one go.
So we got comments coming in.
Yeah, cool. That's what I was hoping
Yeah,
for.
so first I want to ask this question, and I want you to put your thoughts in the feed. Judah, we're going to put you on the spot.
Ooh.
We're gonna say
You know
Judah.
he doesn't like that.
I know, but he's intelligent. Judah, what do we think?
And he's good looking too.
He's very good looking. He's not called the young cower for a reason. You know this man's age? I'm not even going to say it.
No, don't do that.
He's the
to
young
me.
cower. Look
Don't-
how well he's
don't-
aging.
don't-
So this is the
don't-
question I
don't.
want to ask Judah, the director.
Don't do that.
How do you see this period when the vaccinations get out, whether it's going to be the Roaring 20s or not? You think about that. I'm going to give some comments that are coming in on this topic. Judah always has great things to add to the show. Jamie Turner says this. And we got to make sure we get that in the microphone if we can, J-Dubs, because I want to hear your sharp intellect. Jamie Turner says, "Thank you for the welcome, guys. I love this show. My fiance and I recently moved down to Orange County, Virginia, since working in D.C. We went remote back in March. We cannot beat the money saved in the space compared to the small condo we were in Washington, D.C. So it sounds like, Jamie, you moved to Orange County from living in Washington, D.C. because you and your fiance were given the opportunity to work remotely. Please let me know if that's right. And then when you were given the opportunity to work remotely, you chose to move to Orange County for some more space, backyard, lower cost of living, more house. Is that right, Jamie Turner?
And the other component to this is people are saving money. I think we went from the bottom of the list as far as countries like 4 or 5.
Because Americans historically don't save money.
We do not save money.
Yeah, but because of this, we have. Well, many of us. Many of us. More comments coming in.
Sure.
Andre Xavier will get to yours. Grace, we will get to yours. Judah Wickower. In fact, you want one more little bit to think, or are you feeling good about your answer?
We can give him a minute because I want to do a shout out to somebody.
Okay, please.
Barbara Lundgren's birthday is today.
Happy birthday, Barbara. 40 years young, Barbara Lundgren. You look beautiful.
I thought she was 25. She told me she was 25.
I mean, she's aging like a fine wine.
Yeah. I just wanted to, it popped up on my phone. I wanted to take an opportunity and wish her a happy birthday. Did I give you enough
Someone
time?
tag Barbara Lundgren. We love Barbara Lundgren on this network. Judah Wickower's got the mic in front. Don't you love this dynamic? Judah Wickower, my friend.
I love it. I love it when I take notes because I can remember.
Well, we should take notes when this guy's about to talk.
All right, I'm ready. I got a pen.
Judah Wickower, what do you got?
So you're asking if we are headed to the Roaring 20s once enough people are vaccinated and people are free to go out and do what they want?
Yes, sir. Go studio camera here. Why don't we go studio camera here? Is there any way to get Judah's fabulous headshot and mug on this screen? I mean, the man's looking super handsome today.
Let's see. I like it. I don't think there is.
Okay, we'll go studio cam. They can get the back of your head.
Stick my head out like that. But,
Okay. Finish your thought, though.
I think I think it's going to take a while to get to anything close to something like that. I mean, we've got you've got people that are out and about already, who are not really that terrified by what's going on, and I think they're just going to continue their lives the way they have been. And then you've got people who are coming to a decision pretty soon about whether or not they are safe to go outside. I mean, it's mind-numbing to me to think of someone who's hasn't left the house in a year.
There's a lot of people.
There are.
So we got to be
people
careful.
like
There's
that.
a lot of people.
Yeah, so
You're empathetic to that. I know you are.
Yeah, I was about to say we need to be thoughtful.
There's a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah,
But
I'm not saying anything against them. I'm saying that they're coming to a what do you call it, a
Realization?
Well, I want to add to that conversation,
Sure.
if you don't mind, Judah.
Can we get a camera on you, Judah? Can we
So-
put this one on you? Because you're helping this show, baby boy.
So
Please don't call me that.
baby boy.
I love calling people baby. Whenever I say that, everyone gets so taken aback. That's literally why I do that. Yonna's watching. She just liked the show.
Ooh, are you doing this driving, honey?
Yonna literally just liked the show. Yonna Smith, que pasa? Welcome to the broadcast, Yonna.
I think I need to go track her and find out where she is.
You know her by her phone, dude. Jamie says exactly. The rent in D.C. compared to our mortgage here is insane and not comparable.
Absolutely, but you also save money because you're working from home, too, right? But so I do what we do, right? So everybody we bump into, we ask questions. So yesterday I had a conversation with the owners of Jaybird. So Jaybird is the coffee shop at the Studio X where we have our offices at, right? And John's a great guy and so forth and so on. I said, so how's it going? How's business? Hey, are you seeing the same thing? Are you seeing things uptick? And to play off of Judah's comment, he said, we adapted to the market, so forth and so on. He says, there's a gentleman that they deliver coffee to every week, right? Curbside, drop it off at the porch and go in. He said, yesterday the guy came in to pick it up. First time in a year.
Into the place.
Came into the place.
And did they ask why?
I didn't. I felt
you didn't want to pry?
That was too personal.
Okay.
But the takeaway I got was
confidence.
Was that this gentleman
got vaccinated?
I don't know. I didn't get into that. But his confidence was that he was confident enough to come from his home, wherever that may be, into the coffee shop to pick up his weekly grounds that he gets. And I took that. It was what triggered me to continue to ask this question of, so how you seeing the business owners, how you seeing things ramping back up, and listen to the stories, and maybe we can convey them out across these microphones and these cameras. But I just feel, it just feels like it's going that way. And I'm actually going to bring in Elizabeth Cromwell.
Oh yeah, President, Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, and
she's A+ people.
Absolutely.
In fact, I'll tag her right now. Can I tag her?
Of course. And she's always a great interview.
Oh my gosh.
Dynamic.
She knows everybody.
Well, and it's just great to be able to look at her instead of through the Zoom or the Skype that we're using. But at the end of the day, I'd love to ask the same question, right? Okay, your members, right? What are you seeing? Is confidence coming back? And maybe we ask the question, do you see if the roaring 20s are coming?
Andre Xavier's got something to offer.
Love to.
Andre's got a cosmopolitan viewpoint. Andre, Brazilian, right? Is that right, Andre Xavier? Mm-hmm. Brazilian. He says, I agree with Keith Smith.
Oh.
I think we will see a huge increase in travel and leisure activities as soon as fall 2021, but I don't think we will see huge consumer demand for goods. We will also see the gap between the rich and poor get even bigger. I agree with the last sentence. The wealth gap is expanding. Andre, this is what I'd like more perspective from you on, if you could, sir. What do you mean by, I don't think we will see huge consumer demand for goods? Why do you see a huge increase in travel and leisure activities, but not a huge consumer demand for goods? What do you think he means by that?
Well, I know the travel end of it, and literally as you were reading it off, that was the question I wanted to ask Xavier.
Andre Xavier.
Andre, excuse me. Is his business picking up? We've seen part of it. We went to go visit family, and we saw the airports were pretty humming.
Yeah,
we're pretty humming. Everybody was COVID safe. There was protocols to go through. It just feels like it's going that way. I'd love his perspective on that.
Yeah.
We should get him to come in.
We should. I do know this. And Andre, what's your take on this? I play the stock market. I feel more confident in airlines like, say, Southwest that travel domestically. I would think as consumer confidence is coming back to market, the quickest to rebound is domestic flights. And then the bigger brands like your American, your Deltas, et cetera, they will rebound after your Southwest airlines. That's just one man, because I think most people will feel confident at traveling within the country as opposed to going across the pond, South America, elsewhere.
And I don't disagree with that, particularly what you're seeing is going on in Europe. I think, there's a third resurgence, if I remember correctly.
And Germany and Italy, to the point where they're thinking about locking the countries down again around Easter to keep the third wave.
Well, as you know, Yonna's Austrian, and we talk to Austria at least twice a week to our folks.
How much is your cell phone bill? How much is your telephone bill?
With Skype and Zoom, right?
Oh, nice.
FaceTime. I
cool.
love it. As long as I got internet, it's free. Okay. I will tell you, at one point in time, our phone bill had a substantial number in front of it.
What are we talking about? $1,000 a month?
Oh, if not more than that.
Wow, to contact the family.
Yeah, sure. Well,
okay.
This goes back in the 80s
sure.
and stuff like that, where it was, $5 $5 a minute.
Would you have to schedule the phone call?
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay, because what was the time difference?
Well, it's 8 hours.
Okay.
Well,
That's not bad.
yeah, it depends on the time of the year, because their daylight savings is a little different than that, which brings up a question. Can we get rid of that, please?
Well, you don't like daylight, or you just want it to be spring forward the whole time? Or would you like fall back the whole time?
Whatever we are now, let's just keep it.
Spring forward.
Whatever it is.
I would like spring forward more than fall back.
Well, I was thinking about that coming in. I was wondering that I believe, historically, why that was set up was something to do with the farming.
That's right. For more light.
Correct.
So they could work longer.
Well,
You just want them to wake up earlier, is basically what you're saying.
I would imagine they don't look at the clock. They know when the sun's going to come up and they know when the sun's going to go down, right?
Are you assuming something?
No, I'm not assuming something. I know farmers are pretty smart.
They are very smart. They know salt of the earth.
When they know when the sun comes up and they know what the sun's going down and they know what they need to do.
Judah Youngcower's got a thought. You want to finish? Andre Xavier's chiming in on the conversation. There is a lot of fear in the middle class. A lot of people still on forbearance. There is debt to be paid. I believe folks are now more aware of their expenses than before. We will see an increase in savings. Yes, local tours are picking up. Travel is booking for fall and beyond.
Yeah. So
Andre Xavier.
Thank you, Andre. So I'm just buzzing through the new American Rescue Plan summary that National Association of Realtors put out.
Yonna said WhatsApp. We use WhatsApp.
They use WhatsApp.
Yeah, WhatsApp.
But if you because I think my sister-in-law is on an Android. That's probably why we do that. But there's going to be they're going to continue with the abatement on that. So I can't find the dollar amount, but to help with the
forbearance.
Forbearance. Yeah. Thank you.
Do we see a flood of inventory from landlords and or owners that are getting foreclosed upon at the tail end of this year?
Yeah, so I always am uncomfortable with the word foreclosure because a foreclosure is the end result, right? It's a completed task, right? So you've been, foreclosure is done. So the pre-foreclosure, and this is to kind of rally ourselves back to real estate. Look, at the moment, if Mr. and Mrs. Miller, God forbid, feel that we can't make a payment for whatever reason,
sure.
The best thing to do is the first thing is to reach out to a trusted advisor. It could be a real estate agent. More than likely, you want to reach out to your lender,
yeah.
right? But
most likely, your loan's been sold a couple times.
Correct, and you would get notice on it. You know who to call.
So go to your online portal and get the phone number.
But the reason I'm saying is if there is really an issue with that. In today's market, Charlottesville 6 days, Lake Monticello 3 days. If we price it right, we'll just frankly sell the home, sell it more than likely what you bought for it, because historically there's historic equity now in people's homes.
That was not the case in 08, 09.
That was not in the case in the Great Depression, real estate depression, on that end of it. So we could potentially, at least satisfy your loan, end up with a little bit of cash, hopefully. And then kind of reboot what you're trying to do here and find a rental or we'll sit down and figure out a plan from the beginning to end. The point I'm trying to make is once that process starts, once this pre-foreclosure process starts, it's almost impossible to walk it back. Right? You really want to get in front of that and I'm speaking from personal experience, right? Everybody knows we lost a bunch of money, right, in this downturn, and
he was a developer.
That's exactly right, and ignoring it is not the best course of action, right? We need out the trusted advisors to help you get in front of it and get it taken care of, and it will happen. It will. So,
do you see a flood?
I see it's in flood is Roaring 20s.
Okay.
Flood.
Okay, how about this? Do you see...
Define a flood.
Okay, here's a better question. Here's a more to the point question. The potential foreclosures that are coming on the market, either landlord-owned because their tenants aren't paying their rent.
Sure.
Or...
There's assistance for that, by the way, in this plan.
Right. Or someone who owns a house and can't pay their mortgage.
Sure.
That type of inventory will it have an impact on the Central Virginia real estate market?
Of course it will.
If so, how?
Of course it will, because it's just going to increase inventory.
How much? What levels?
Look.
Significant?
No.
A point?
No. I don't know.
percentage
I
point?
wouldn't want to recite the number because I haven't had a chance to research it.
Okay.
I know this much. What drove the 08 to 09 thing is the upside down this, right? The lending practices were,
Terrible.
let's say, terrible.
Yeah. They didn't know. They gave, like you said, they gave a loan to a cup of coffee.
A cup of
And then
coffee.
people were taking HELOCs against their house.
And they were using their homes as piggy
At
banks.
banks.
Yeah. So none of that is happening, right? So that gives me solace that this is going to. But look, and I don't have the data, and I don't want to start. I can get that put together for Friday. I don't want to, misquote a number, but it's minuscule compared to what it was. So, but anything that comes on the market helps that 6 days. Anything that comes on the market, we just don't want to see it at the expense of somebody losing their home. That's horrible, right? And I can, not that we've lost our home, but I know what this feels like. And the issue is, the only thing I want to get across to whoever's watching, if you're in that boat, or you think you're in that boat, or you're afraid you're going to be in that boat, pick up the phone and call us. We'll have a conversation. We'll have a cup of coffee. Let's figure out a way so that doesn't happen.
Right?
And a lot of people are just afraid to have that. It's afraid to have a money conversation. It's an uncomfortable conversation to have. But you need to have that conversation with a trusted advisor. And there are ways to help you now that didn't exist. When it was 08 and 09, it was just instant. It was people were out to hurt you, literally. And again, I can speak from a place of being there. Those systems that's not happening now. And so there's people to help you. So if God forbid you're in that position, reach out to Yonna and I, reach out to any real estate agent, reach out to your loan servicer, your loan officer who helped you originally do it. That's really a better phone call than the loan servicer. Reach out to the loans officer to help you and say, hey, Scott Morris, hey, I need some help here. What can I do? Knowing Scott, I'll say reach out to Keith and Yonna. Let's figure out what the house is worth. But there's a team here that's behind you that can help you get there, to get it done. And it may not be selling the house. It may be negotiating something with the bank that we're able to help facilitate.
Dennis has got a comment. Dennis is watching. Dennis, where are you watching? Nelson, I believe, Dennis.
Ooh,
he says,
we love
Keith,
Nelson.
what's your take on rates rising? I follow the 10-year yield. We certainly see movement here. I think that's going to help this market out because it could decrease who can buy. It could diminish who can buy homes. Is that a right look?
Absolutely, it is right. Look, I think as interest rates go up, what it's going to do is have a short surge, right? People that have been on the fence are going to jump in the market. I think people.
Is that what's happening now?
Yeah, I
because
think
they're going up a quarter to a half point, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. But look,
every half point is what?
Oh, it depends on the price of the house, right? I can't recite that number off the top of my head. Bottom line is, interest rates go up, your mortgage payment goes up, right? Less house you can buy, because most people buy the house based on what they can afford monthly, right? That's usually how that works. Look, it's gonna increase it, but we talked about this before, and this has been my fear. Everybody has now thought sub 3 was normal. It's not normal. 4 to 6-ish is normal. So we're not even up into normal ranges yet. But it will decrease the buyers, which will increase the inventory. But, my God, the city of Charlottesville, 6 days. 35 homes active. 93 went pending. So currently we got 93 pending and 35 active. And I can't switch the paper over to figure out what we're sold on it but it's just anything is going to help the inventory loosen up. And we were having a conversation.
Vaccinations?
Absolutely, everything. Confidence. That's the reason why I wanted to ask this confidence.
Open houses returning?
Well, we've been doing them. We're going to do a couple on these coming soon.
Open houses with people in the structure.
Yeah, we as an industry adapted to that pretty quickly.
Because there was talk. in the beginning of COVID that they could go away.
They could, yeah. You know, there's a very strict protocol that we use on it. They're not as commonplace as they are. You know, let's be frank. They don't get that far.
Open houses.
No. We don't. You put something on the
now in this market,
yeah,
it doesn't get to that point.
It doesn't get that far, right?
Right.
You put if it's priced right, you put something on Monday, it doesn't make it to Sunday, right? So there's never, there hasn't really been a need to have open houses. We love doing them, Yonna and I, because we love to interact with people. But from a market perspective, it's really not been needed, right? Frankly,
I mean, not now.
It's not now. But I think everything we're talking
We
about.
got comments on the open house coming in.
I think everything we're talking about. So, on the regional housing partnership, I don't use the term affordable housing. I use the term a healthy housing system, right? And to put a little bit of definition to that, what's affordable to you and me may be different to Judah, may be different to somebody else to somebody else. So it's a very hard thing to quantify, right? It's almost insulting, frankly, right? So, but a healthy housing system means is that there is housing choices for everybody in the spectrum, from one level to another level into that. So my hope is, but some of these things going in the right direction, we kind of create a little bit more of a healthy housing system, which I think will be good for everybody. But to go back to Neil's original comment, it's a supply and demand thing. If the builders can't produce, right, they can't generate lots, they can't build houses, they're kind of saying, hey, we're tamping down the sales.
Yeah, our supply chain's too tight. We don't have land to build upon.
We don't want to outrun our ability to produce. We don't want Jerry, the drywall guy, to all of a sudden leave, and now I don't have a drywall guy,
yeah,
which is a big issue.
Especially because it's Jerry,
Well,
and he's good.
No, he's not. You're good at a lot of things. Drywall?
Dude, I can't do anything repair, anything like that.
I disagree with that.
My wife is
I disagree with that.
My wife fixes everything in our house.
I disagree with that. You know what you can do?
YouTube.
Call
Keith Smith.
No, well,
Call my wife.
You can call me. My list is rather long. I can help you
Neil
out.
says interest rates directly impact housing affordability.
It does. That's exactly right. So that's he said it in a better way than I'm trying to say. So as interest rates go up, what you can afford goes down. Interest rates go down, what you can afford goes up. But that's going to impact sales price too. But the chasm is so wide at the moment. We've got a long way to go before we get that way. And what we're going to try to do here is keep a track on it and keep everybody up to speed on it. But excuse me. But the needle's moving. It's moving awfully slow, but it is moving. What are you smiling at?
No, I mean, I agree. I mean, I learned so much from you. I mean, this is basically this is basically where we're at here. Is we need inventory.
Stop it.
We need stock.
Stop it.
Right?
So along those lines, this is a bit of a geekish thing, but anybody who really wants to understand what the zoning hurdles are for real estate, we'll put a link in it. But on the
what's it specifically in relation to in Central Virginia?
Say it again.
Specifically in relation to Central Virginia, the zoning hurdles. Are we talking Albemarle County and the 5% of developable land?
Yeah. So who we have coming in is the Vice President of Governmental Affairs for Home Builders Association of Virginia. We got Charlie Armstrong coming in. Charlie Armstrong is with Southern Development Homes, and we have
Charlie.
And we have our good friend Chris Henry.
Nice.
And what we're going to talk about, and we'll put the link in there if you can join us. It'll be a webinar. We're going to be talking about, basically what's the barriers to it and how.
When is it?
The 18th. I know you were going to ask me this. Thursday, the 18th. From 12 noon to 1 o'clock.
Oh, that's a tough slot for you guys.
That's a tough slot because you're going to be on the air.
Yeah, you guys aren't going to have much viewership for that one.
Yeah.
You know what you should do is you should take something like that and put it here.
So I'm ahead of you.
Yeah, in front of people as opposed to in a silo.
There's going to be people
there. It's going to be you, Chris, and Charlie.
No. We got about 50, 60 people signed up. But I've actually reached out to all three of them to bring them in here for this round table.
That'd be great. You can do it anytime you want.
Well, Yeah, because I'm the executive producer
Of this show.
of this show. Anyway,
Yeah.
thank you for keeping me straight.
I'm trying.
But yeah, so we're but this whole ability that you guys created to have 4 people here COVID safe. This is just a new thing, so we're trying to ramp up and to get on people's schedules, as
It's
you
tough,
well know.
especially those guys.
I'll tell you, 147 shows. I never realized how much work it took, and my hat's off to you because I'm doing it. And folks like Neil that creates content, how difficult it
Content
is.
is hard to create, man.
Man, I was like,
Content is king. Content drives eyeballs. Eyeballs drive revenue. Revenue keeps a business in the black. A business in the black allows me to give him money.
And just to put a show on, a Tuesday show and a Friday show on, I spend hours and hours. This one, not so much, right? I just kind of wanted to
And
freelance.
some of these
it.
are our best. Have you even looked at the clock?
No, what time is it? Oh, wow.
Right?
Look at that, huh?
And just looked at it for the first time.
Yeah.
An hour.
Has it really been an hour? Wow.
Right?
Yeah, so,
That's when you know it's clicking.
Yeah, but look, not that this needs to be a bro fest here.
Sure.
But our chemistry is clicking off, and we're doing great. I have to tell you, I did enjoy our show on Friday.
Yeah.
With Emily, and
I got so much feedback
Yeah.
from Emily on the show.
Yep.
From women who appreciated the female perspective.
And our chemistry is working. I was literally going there. You know what? The one thing I learned on that.
What's
thing?
that?
Better programming. We need to bring up some women in on it and get a different
Or we
perspective.
work Emily somehow into the mix just an idea. She was fantastic.
Well, we've had that conversation before.
And what did Emily say?
I need more money. Raise my salary up a little bit. But yeah, we're going to do that. But my point I'm trying to get at is we now can do this. This has been a year
Yeah.
of us. Really, if you think about it, this has been a year of us constant adapting. And what's the word? What was the word
Don't
for?
use the P word.
Yeah, I won't use the P word.
Oh, is that the word you're talking
That
about?
was exactly
Yeah.
the word I was going to
Okay.
say. So, but cool. So we're going to bring them in. We
Not
got
that P word, Brian. Good Lord.
What did Brian say?
You don't want to know.
Really?
Pivot. We're talking pivot. Brian, we just leave it at that.
But actually, but
No, Brian, no.
but actually, the other P word, if I think what it is
You're not thinking this one.
oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He was
yeah.
joking.
Oh.
Pivot, Brian, pivot.
Where's Brian from?
Brian, where are you from? Please let us know. He's laughing right now.
Is he laughing?
He's joking.
So any other feedbacks on that?
Sure. Let me get to
And then we want to throw out there, seriously, this 150th show is coming up, and
patience. Yonna says is the P word.
oh yeah, good word. Well, look who she lives with, right?
Neither you nor I. That's one of our strong suits.
I'm not.
Are you patient?
Well,
Yonna, Keith's patient.
no, if one must be honest.
My wife would say he's the absolute opposite of me. The absolute opposite of patient.
So I will tell you, I struggle with that.
Me too.
And I really, really consciously try to do 2 things. Get better with my patience and interrupting people. Now, having the hearing aids helped that second one quite a bit because I didn't realize people were not speaking, because I just didn't hear them speaking.
She says you're patient at times.
At times.
That's what she said, at times.
She didn't say that last night.
She said yes, at times.
In quotations.
I love when she does
So I
that.
want to know where she is. Please ask
Yonna,
her
where
she
you
is.
at?
Because
Yeah.
she's supposed to be up in Northern Virginia right now.
Maybe she is.
Uh-huh.
Maybe she's stuck in traffic.
She better not be stuck in traffic talking on the
Or
phone.
she's Bluetoothing. You can Bluetooth.
Yeah, she can.
With keep your hands on the wheel,
The Subaru is pretty cool with that.
right? The Subaru is fantastic. The smart cars are amazing. You wanted a question,
Yeah.
okay? And
Uh-oh.
this is from
What? Hold it. It's 11:17. We got to go.
I know, and especially you, because you got something coming up, right?
I'm actually good. I think.
Nelson Reeves said, Jerry and Keith, I found this entire conversation fascinating. Please go a little deeper into gasoline and the surrounding counties as a man who has a family and a home and investment property in Orange and Louisa. So, Nelson, your primary residence is in Orange and you have investment property in Louisa. Am I reading that correctly? So he wants your take.
Well, we kind of covered it a little bit. Just to recap my thinking on it is that I don't think it's going to impact. It's going to have a larger impact on the economy. I don't think it's going to have an impact on housing. Totally may be wrong, right? Everybody was predicting COVID was going to devastate the housing market. It did for a very short period of time, and then we had either, depending on who you talk to, a V recovery or a K recovery, right? And to be honest with you, I think we had a V recovery. Some people might think it's more of a K-shaped.
Depending on where you are.
Depending on where you are. I think what's going to happen is, if depending on where it's in Louisa, and this is going to, and I'm fearful for my good friends that are in the restaurant business. That's what I'm really fearful, because they're, look, let's face it. At the end of the day, shelter's going to come first. Getting back and forth from work is going to come second. The discretionary dollars to go out in a restaurant is probably going to suffer. I may be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. But incomes surely aren't increasing, at this rate. And who knows? Maybe things might change. OPEC may open up the valve, whatever it is. And the reason I think we're going to see this, and the reason I think there's going to be struggle, Virginia legislature did a great thing, in my opinion. It adopted this new EV laws. To put it in very simplistic terms, they basically adopted the California Clean Air Act. Right? I think there's 13 or 14 states that have done it. Virginia's done it, and I'm trying to get Ms. Hudson in here from Sally Hudson. Sally Hudson.
She's a delegate.
Thank you. Get Sally Hudson in because she voted against this. She didn't vote against the EV thing, but she voted against funding it. So it's an interesting thing. They've adopted a policy, but they haven't funded it. So in the local economy, local government's world, this is called an unfunded mandate. So this is like me saying, I want you to make Judah work 1,000 hours a day or a week, right? But I'm not going to pay you any more money to do that.
So then what's it worth?
So that's the interesting thing. So the thing that was on the table, and maybe next year will happen, I guess COVID ramp. I haven't had a chance to dig into it. That's the reason why I would like to get Sally to say, okay, because she didn't vote for funding it. So I'd like to understand why. Because the bottom line is something like a $2,500 rebate for an EV. I believe it's like $7,000 and change on the federal side. You put those two numbers together, something like a Bolt that's maybe $30,000, $35,000 becomes super affordable. It becomes a little bit more affordable. There's a component on this EV thing that nobody's talking about. You now need to put an accelerated charger in your house, unless you do if you do the 110, I think it takes like 12 hours to do it. I've done enough research because I'm looking to buy one. But you need to do like a 220 charger.
How much are those?
A couple of $1,000.
Okay, so people aren't talking about that.
Right, so that's the rapid charger that does it in a couple hours or 45 minutes or whatever. And part of this EV bill is the infrastructure. Right, so if you live in an apartment complex and it only has one EV charger and there's 5 cars, how's that going to work? Right, so there's a lot of the goals and objectives, in my opinion, are good. I think the market is seeing this already, and I think it's going to make a huge difference. So that might change this whole dynamic. But, I think you're going to see builders starting to include some EV charges, at least as an option. They're probably doing it already. They may end up, if you're building something on the other side of the mountain.
You think a standalone single family, the builder includes the battery charger in the garage? Or are you thinking this is more potentially like townhomes, apartments, and condos that have one charging station for everyone to go to?
So it's both.
Okay.
And then you're going to see.
So you think custom home building.
If I was,
I think you're right.
If I was in the custom home building,
you would be offering that.
I would be offering that. If I was in the production business again, I would be including it.
I wonder if the electric vehicle, and this is just two guys spitballing for the sake of a talk show.
So I raised my house $2,500. I put one of these things in it. You spend the $2,500 over 30 years. It's minimal, and you have an EV charger, and it helps you in the resale down the road.
That's right. That's right. So you know how we talked about how broadband has driven values with real estate?
Sure.
maybe similar.
Well, I think so too, and then you couple this with the incentive programs you have on for solar, because that's what we're looking at our house, right? We can put enough solar on there that the solar's charging my car, because even though you're not spending for fuel, you got to spend you got to spend some money to charge this vehicle.
Quentin says it's not all that expensive. You just need a 220 plug, and the car will come with a level 2 charger. Quentin Beckham.
That's from a voice of experience.
Yeah, Quentin Beckham. I think he has one, right?
He has one.
Yeah, Audi EV.
He has an Audi EV.
Yeah.
And
so
I want to know why he's watching instead of not enjoying his time off.
I think is he on vacay?
He's on vacay.
Quentin Beckham,
Oh,
QB.
am I not supposed to say that? I might have just got myself into trouble.
QB, welcome to the broadcast. We love Quentin Beckham. In fact, I'm going to say, Quentin Beckham,
Sorry, Quentin.
thank you for watching. I just sent that to him.
Uh-oh, I just got a text. I'm in trouble.
From QB?
No, I'm
You're
kidding.
joking. Oh, my goodness
Hold
gracious.
Hold it.
One
I just got fired.
comment came in via Twitter.
Came in given Twitter?
Yeah,
Good for
via
him.
Twitter. All right, let's close on
Good for
this
him.
one. This is via Twitter. We stream the show on every social media platform possible, not just Facebook, but we're live on every one. This one on Twitter said, this is from Donald. I watched your show yesterday, and Jerry was talking about how restaurants may struggle to fill staffing because many of the front of the house or the back of the house people have already left for other jobs because the restaurants have been closed during the pandemic. I agree with him. I also had not considered the impact restaurants may face because of disposable income tied to gasoline prices. This was a fascinating discussion.
Thank you. Well, we talked about yesterday on the show because I tied it to my world, right? When the real estate depression happened and everybody left the construction business, right? The drywaller went to work at Walmart.
Yeah, that was a good comparison by you.
Thank you. To getting paid whatever it was, $15-20 an hour, a living wage, not working with sucking in dust, the cold, the heat, whatever it was. He went to work at the Walmart distribution center, plus have benefits, plus have a retirement program and all that stuff. And those people never came back. And that was part of the ramping up problem, right? Because it's been 13 years we started was anemic. It went from like 2 million units down to 400, and we're gradually going back up there. But the pent up demand of new construction is such. I think that may be the same problem that you might see in the
restaurant industry,
in the back of the house, in the front of the house.
And that problem already existed before the pandemic in this area.
Sure. Well, that was because we were number 10.
We have too many.
10. Well, 10 or 4. I mean,
We're lucky. From a restaurant owner standpoint, we have too many.
From my perspective,
it's great.
There was no such a thing.
Right. But from a restaurant owner standpoint.
Yeah. The margins were narrow to start with, and it didn't. But I'm just looking at it from an employee perspective. That's the reason why there's a struggle, And that was literally the conversation I had with the waiter yesterday. I said, "Well, so what did you do? Where did you go? What was happening?" Just me being me, asking W questions on the end of it, and just having a great conversation with a waiter. But he echoed what I said. That's the problem. They've got other jobs. They found other jobs, and maybe did different career paths or an education path. That's what happened in the last turn down. People went in and got an education on it. They kind of grew their different things. So I may be wrong, but I think you're going to see a harder struggle. But if this gas thing goes north, gets to the $4 level, people are going to start tightening their wallets. It's just going to happen.
True. Here's a good way to close. Laura Troy's watching. Jerry, we're watching in Spring Creek. We put you on the big screen. We've watched the show from start to finish.
Big screen.
Please tell Keith this was one of his best ones.
Oh, thank you.
Laura Troy in Spring Creek.
Laura, thank you so much. It's amazing. And we had little planning for this other than the drive coming in, frankly. And I will tell you, it must be the super new chair.
You like it?
I feel very comfortable.
Everybody likes it.
I like it, the new chair.
Yeah.
I could take a nap later.
Please don't do that here.
Shut up and get to work.
That's kind of what I'm saying. Keith Smith, Judah Wickower, Jerry Miller. Yes Team Realtors, Yes Realty Partners. The program is Real Talk. The Yes Team Realtors are trusted advisors in the game, people that will go to the wall and back for you during a tough and stressful transaction process. My friend.
Thank you to Judah over there. But I don't know if you can, but put it in the feed some ideas for show 150.
Sure. Show 150 is a week from.
No, a week from this Friday, so two Fridays away from now.
A week from this Friday is our show 150. Smith wants to wear spandex again.
No, I
said,
do
not.
not.
So fast, my friend.
Not so. So it's the 26th is
The
150.
26th. That'll be a good. We should do something special. We should do like a cast of characters all-star session, and we just get them, coming in.
This
You don't
is,
like that idea?
No, it's scary. As I literally was thinking that this morning.
Like, oh yeah, that'd be great.
That
right?
we would reach
like
out.
our favorite guests.
Our favorite. Well, they're all our
Yeah,
favorite.
but you know what I
guests.
mean.
But yeah, to do whoever we can get in there.
Like
and
a reunion show.
Ooh.
You know? That'd be fun.
We need more than. Can we knock that out in an hour? An hour? Huh?
Now, this is where Jerry says, let me think about it. Judo, he's giving me the look. We're getting out of here. Real Talk, presented by Yes Realty Partners and Yes Team Realtors. Guys, thank you for joining us. This show airs Tuesdays and Fridays at 10:15 a.m. on the I Love CVille Network, and we thoroughly enjoy doing it.
There you go.
That's the sign to get off air.
Ring a ding ding.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
You guys have a good afternoon. Or good morning. We'll see you in about an hour and 2 minutes.
Who do you have
the
on
CVille
today?
Show. We have the owner of Meriwether Springs Vineyards.
Oh, cool.
And Alex, the CEO of Merchant Financial Services.
Cool.
It's going to be a good show.
Actually,
J-Dubs,
Alex be a good guest.
cue the outro, baby.
Shut up, guys.
I didn't say boy. Just said baby. Good show.